Welcome back. The Ministry of Health and Wellness informs the general public that people traveling outside of St Lucia and requiring a PCR test for COVID-19 can access those services at the Grosley Polyclinic or the Viewfort Wellness Center. Swabbing for the PCR COVID-19 test will be available at the two centers on Monday to Friday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. The cost of the PCR test is US $100 or EC $267 to be paid at the Grosley Polyclinic or the Viewfort Wellness Center. Individuals are also advised to walk with a valid form of identification when accessing services at the Grosley Polyclinic or the Viewfort Wellness Center. It is recommended that individuals come in at least 3 days or 72 hours before scheduled travel dates. With the formation of Tropical Storm Teddy and Tropical Storm Vicky on Monday, there have now been 20 named storms for this Atlantic hurricane season. There is only one name left on the predetermined Atlantic hurricane season naming list before it goes Greek. With one more name left, that being Wilfred, the letters of the Greek alphabet will be used to name further storms. This would be only the second time this has happened. It has been an extremely busy season. By mid-September, statistics show that normally there would have been 7 named systems. This year, however, has been far from normal, with 13 more than average. One of the most remarkable features of the season has been how early each of the named storms formed in relation to previous years. None of this, however, has surprised meteorologists as conditions were forecast to come together for a busy season. In the agency's latest venture towards its goal of securing 600 new landowners for the financial year, Invest St Lucia officially cut the ribbon at its prized Beauchamp land development in Micoud. Invest St Lucia says it has been looking into developments that will target the middle-class spectrum, exploring options such as multifamily offerings, in which case people can purchase a unit within a duplex or apartment complex at a lower reasonable cost. This includes the Beauchamp land development, which has been designated for both residential and commercial use.
Invest St Lucia, the ISL, has launched the Beauchamp development in keeping with its mandate to utilize state assets to create attractive and accessible opportunities for St Lucians to become landowners. The Beauchamp land development project is 80% sold and comprises lots ranging from 4 to 12,000 square feet. Roderick Sherry is the Chief Executive Officer of Invest St Lucia.
This Beauchamp development comprises 59 fully serviced lots, and they are a combination of residential and some commercial property. The sizes range from 4,000 to 12,000 square feet, and they are reasonably priced at $12 a square foot. A land development like this is crucial to Micoud's growth and development as a self-sustaining community. Home and business construction helps to generate more jobs that are community-based. It can also have a trickle-down effect on other industries such as retail, manufacturing, agriculture, and the services sector, thereby bringing economic stability to communities. This can have a direct and positive impact on the lives of our citizens.
The Beauchamp project was announced by the ISL along with a number of residential and commercial land developments. However, the onset of COVID-19 delayed plans.
But this has not deterred us. In fact, the challenges posed by the pandemic have made ISL even more determined than ever to push on. This is because it has underscored the importance of St. Lucians owning property assets, including a home, which is much better than having to deal with the uncertainties of living in rented accommodation or squatting on untitled lands. This proves that our decision to put more St. Lucians on the path to land and home ownership was a right one, and it was very timely.
Mr. Sherry says government and the ISL are working towards diversifying the local economic landscape and reducing poverty. And such projects are designed to create new neighborhoods away from the congested north of the island. Prime Minister and Parliamentary Representative for Micoud South, Honorable Alan Chasney, says the constituency is ripe for this new development thrust. To facilitate this, there have been upgrades to the water supply and distribution network and further investments in facilities and infrastructure.
We're opening up very soon a new water park for the kids, which will include swings and slides. and a canteen and a recreational area for adults, as well as a water park feature. We are fixing up the football field in Deroso and putting an AstroTurf facility, and just not too far from here, in the near the Miku Secondary School, we're also putting in an AstroTurf football facility in that location. And why is that important? Because we recognize that Miku South is becoming a suburb to Vieux Fort. And while we may not have as much economic output that we used to have here, I think that persons who are going to be moving to the south, and yes, you did hear me right, persons who would be moving to the south from the north, and that is already starting, we're hoping that they're going to choose Miku South as their choice destination.
Prime Minister Chasney says the time has come for St Lucia to benefit from a more thriving construction sector where contractors are better empowered.
So when we came in as a government, we had to figure out a mechanism as to how to develop these kinds of investments without overburdening the state. And so the land was already in Invest St Lucia, and Invest St Lucia was able to identify a contractor that was willing to come in and put down the facilities. Government supported it by providing incentives to that contractor to be able to lay down the infrastructure. And then as the lots are sold, both Invest St Lucia and the contractor now are reimbursed. We've also added now an additional incentive. And that additional incentive is if a contractor from this constituency or in the neighboring constituencies has the capacity to go out and convince 5 of the new landowners to build, and gives them a design of a house, and is able to get 5 other homeowners to agree to join in, government will give that contractor incentives.
Invest St Lucia is spearheading similar projects in Boisjoli Miku and Lafargue Choiseul. From the Government Information Service, Lisa Joseph reporting.
The rebranded St Lucia National Arts Festival Outreach is hosting virtual literacy and performing arts sessions. The social media disseminator for the St Lucia Cultural Development Foundation, Temba Cadet, says due to COVID-19, most activities will be streamed live via social media.
If you thought a COVID-19 pandemic would have stopped the annual National Arts Festival, then you thought wrong, because it is going full steam ahead, but with a twist. This year's festival, which is the brainchild of the Cultural Development Foundation, introduces Outreach, which is a virtual event with the theme Voices of the Underground and features the work of only female poets. The second episode of the series, which was aired on Sunday, featured Catherine Atkinson, whilst the first episode featured Gina McPhee. Speaking on the topic was social media disseminator for the Cultural Development Foundation, Temba Cadet, who explained the new concept.
This year, we all know what's been going on with the pandemic and everything's changed, but we really wanted to keep going with Outreach and with the festival, and so we've brought it to the masses, to the public, but with a live streaming format. So this year, the National Arts Festival Outreach 2020 will have a poetry component, the Poetry Live series, the CDF feature, as well as a theatre arts production, but it will all be brought to you directly from your screen.
Cadet said, in this day and age where the art preferences have shifted, there has been a push to encourage the youth to get themselves involved.
I think everything has been forced to move online. So whether we like it or not, we're all online, and that's how we communicate now. So for the most part, of course, we do have the crowd who's familiar with the CDF, the work of the CDF, what CDF does. But we've also been bringing more young people on board, which is so heartwarming, especially me as a young person. And so you find the literature can be a little tricky and it can be different, but we do have young people coming on board, especially with the new series that's been rolled out. Parts of the Poetry Live is that we do a music feature where we analyze a song. Last week in the episode we analyzed Umpa's Dennery Anthem, and so we think all of these as the components bring it together and help it to be for everyone. So even if you're not necessarily very good at literature or poetry, but there's some part that you can connect to, and that's very important to us, and so that's something we really wanted to work on.
The social media disseminator reminded the masses of the importance of embracing all that is St. Lucian. She also encouraged poets to come forward to use the CDF as an outlet to shine a light on their talent. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Sports and weather are coming up after the break.